I just watched Dealing with Mikadono Sisters is a breeze, and I want to talk about who I think the best girl of the show is. Let's talk about it. Alright, hey, what's up, y'all? Hope y'all are doing okay. Back with another romance anime review. I said we're doing one a week, and I'm sticking to it. Today, we're talking about the show Dealing with Mikadono Sisters is a breeze. It came out in the last season of romance anime. I wanted to watch because I saw the thumbnail and I saw some moments here and there. I thought it was going to be fun. And so I watched it, and this is going to be very different of a review from the last couple ones I have done, and you'll see when we get more into the video. Once again, I want to thank you guys for watching the videos and mostly the shorts on this channel. Again, we don't upload too crazy around here. Again, we really want to stick to one full-on video review a week and then a short once in a while as well to kind of go inside with the video. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. We got a couple subs around here. Shorts been hitting over 1K views. I appreciate all you for that. And keep supporting the channel if you like romance anime. You know, I'm just a romance anime yapper. And so yeah, that's what we're doing around here. But now let's fully get into this review. So like I said earlier, this review is going to be very different from the other ones. Usually I go in and talk about, romance in the show, or just basically review the entirety of the show. You know, talk about everything involved in it. But for this show, I wanted to do something different. I watched all 12 episodes of this show, and overall, I thought it was solid. You know, I don't think it was anything super spectacular, but I didn't hate it at all either. It was solid. And usually I go in and talk about, you know, the plot and the themes and all that stuff. But for me personally, I just didn't feel like doing that, I guess. And I wanted to more talk about the girls, specifically the three main girls that we see throughout the entire show, the Mikadono sisters, because they are, obviously they play a big role in this series. And so today, instead of reviewing the entire show and every single thing that happens in every single episode, I wanted to do a quick little battle to decide who is the best Mikadono sister, who is the best girl in this show. We know, in not even specifically romance anime, in every show, there's always a best girl. There's always a one girl that sticks out above the rest that everybody loves, you know. And so I decided, you know what? Let's see which one is the best girl of this show. So how we're gonna do it is, I'm gonna go through each girl, talk about her story in the show, still give some moments in review, you know, of the things that happen to her in this show, and give my 2 cents on my reasoning to why she could maybe win the best girl in this show. And at the end, I'll give who my best girl is. All right, so stick with me on this one. So the first girl we're starting with is Nico. She is kind of like the first one I feel like we get really fully introduced and, you know, dive deep into. Oh, and hold on, stop. By the way, if you want an actual review of the show and actually want like a full breakdown of every single thing and the themes and the main character, the main story, this isn't the video for you. You should probably go maybe watch someone else that did it, or just go watch the show yourself. You know, I always recommend for every one of my videos, go watch the show itself, you know, before you watch my videos, or even if you're inspired by my video to go watch the show. I always will recommend supporting the original content and going to actually watch the show and make your own opinions on it first. You know, I'll say that right now. But let's get back into the battle. Nico is kind of the first sister we really get introduced to. Her main traits are karate. You know, she's a prodigy at karate. She will kick your butt. She's very feisty personality, you know, always not being afraid to, I guess, yell at someone or be really stern or go fight somebody. But we also see some tsundere tendencies from her as well. She does have a cute side, you know, and wants to show and wants to kind of appear that she's strong, but the inside, she definitely can get flustered easily and has a different cutesy side to her. Talking about the moments we see from her throughout the show, she's the first one to interact with our main character, Yu. ISA is the main character, so if I'm saying you, I'm not talking to you. Well, sometimes I might be talking to you, but I'm talking about you, the character. You know what I'm saying?
You!
Yes?
Not you, him! What's your name?
Me.
Yes, you!
I am me.
Here's me.
And I'm you.
She's the first one to talk to you and recognize you at their house. Gotta explain some context here. So basically, you gets taken in by these sisters' dad because he's kind of like a failure and kind of needs something in life because his mother just died. So the father takes him in without telling any of the daughters, by the way. And now he lives with the three sisters. So that's like the main guess, point of this show. She's the first one to catch you at the house, kicks him because obviously she thinks he's an intruder, and the first one to have kind of a flustered moment with him where he's trying to like dry her off because she's only in a towel just coming out the shower. And she's the first one that always gets like flustered and kind of a little bit thrown off guard from the things he says. You're gonna see that a lot in the show because that's like one of the main constants, is that he always says something that flusters all the girls. His superpower is Riz, I guess. She also the one that recognizes that you clean the dojo, because the first opening scene is they're trying to teach him how to fight and he's getting his ass beat when she comes in and saves him and tells him to clean the dojo because you lost, and he does it. And even at their house, which is a mess because they don't know how to clean, he does it, and she's the one that actually recognizes this. She's also kind of a freak. She gets flustered at his tongue movement. Just gonna throw that out there, I guess. She's also the first to see and recognize that Yu is cooking out of kindness and the caring of his heart. You know, he wants, at the end of the day, his goal is to make this whole, sisters and him a family, because he never really had a happy family growing up, and his goal, his promise to his mom before he died, was to make a happy family for himself. And so he's kind of treating this as like his family. He's taking this super seriously, making all of them kind of care about each other. And Nico's the first one to see that he actually is cooking and trying to put an effort to make all of them kind of come together as one. She also gets called out by Miwa, the younger sister, we're gonna get to in a couple minutes, about a potential crush that she has on her. She basically just outed herself. We also learn a little bit more about her, that as a kid, she was kind of forced to be a tomboy by her dad. She grew up right away as karate and fighting, and so instead of wearing dresses and stuff, she always wore jeans and sweaters and vests instead of being like a girly girl. And her dad kind of forced her into being that way because he wants to make all of them prodigies and greats at these certain things. And for Nico's, it was karate. And so that, I guess, meant now you can't be a girl, you have to be like a tomboy. But secretly on the inside, she always wanted to kind of wear dresses and wear pink and just explore that side of herself. And we get to see that a lot in the show. One, for when they go to a festival and she picks out a pink kimono for himself and dresses really nicely. And then we see it a little bit later at an amusement park that they all go to, where she dresses really nicely as well. So it's nice that we get to see that other side of her. And, she's not just fighting tomboy, all this stuff. She has a cute side to her. She wants to be a princess. Why can't she, Her big plot line as well in this story is her interacting again with her old karate friend named Hatsumi, who goes to another school. They grew up together, fighting with each other in the dojo and stuff. And Hatsumi comes to Nico and them school because he wants to take her away and bring her to his school that is better at karate, and wants her to leave basically all these stuff behind because he still thinks that he's better than her, and the only way she's gonna grow up, she goes around better talent. And she kind of starts like doubting herself a little bit here, thinking about like, dang, am I actually strong? Am I actually getting better? I want to be this like strong person. And so she's really questioning herself, and then Yu comes in and kind of stands up for her, challenges Hatsumi to a fight, even though everyone in the world knew he was going to get his ass beat, which he eventually ends up doing. She also realizes I just said realizes is oh my god. She also realizes that she's vulnerable sometimes too, and again, she has a cute side. She's not just all strength and muscles and oh my god, karate. She has a different side to her, and you kind of helps her explore that and helps her come to terms with it. So eventually with the fight, again, Yu gets his ass beat, but she steps in, fights Hatsumi as well. And at first she starts losing because she's super textbook, by the books, all that stuff, and Hatsumi knows that because he hasn't been fighting for years. But then eventually at some point she kind of just lets go and it's just like, you know what, I'm gonna just be myself. And eventually ends up beating Hatsumi, all thanks to Yu reassuring her that being yourself and being who you are, that's okay. You don't have to portray like this tough person. You can be vulnerable sometimes too. We all are. Another reason why she didn't want to go to the school is because she's figuring out that she really cares for her sisters and classmates on the inside, and she really wants to stay around for them. She also gets confessed to by Hatsumi at one point, and that goes nowhere because, of course not. And they go to the amusement park as kind of a way for her to thank Yu for helping her win. And all three of them have a certain plan to try to get Yu flustered. Because honestly, at the end of the day, they all kind of have a knowing that they all have a crush on Yu, but they're not saying it out loud, but they all know. And so it's like a little bit of an inside competition on who's going to get him. And so they all have a plan at the park to kind of fluster him. And her plan is to go into the teacup ride and make it really, really fast. So, Yu kind of like, she gets into Yu's arms and Yu has to like get flustered and protect her. And so they do that, but it goes the other way around where they're both kind of messed up. We get an almost kiss from them until eventually Yu just falls out of the cup entirely. Overall, I really like Nico. I like her design as well. Her hair is super, super cool. Even like her casual wear with like the necklace and the black shirt, like she's just super dope to me. Like she just looks super, super cool. And overall, she kind of, in a way, feels like the main girl in a sense. But if you see some of the things, she also gets a lot of fan service compared to all the other ones. I feel like she's the only one that really gets fan service because I guess why not? But it kind of feels like she is the main girl and they're setting her up to be the main girl because she gets so much attention. It feels like every time something happens, she's always the first one that gets involved and she's always the one that gets the bigger moment compared to the other two girls. So it feels like they're kind of pushing her to be the main girl, even though it's not fully like stated or it's not fully there, but it kind of feels like they're pushing her to be the main girl. But overall, I really like Nico. Again, I think she's super cool, super dope to me. And yeah, she has a really good running in this race. Next, we're going to Kazuki, the older sister. For her, she is an actor. She plays in a lot of plays and stuff. She acts more like a prince, acts more, I guess, masculine, takes on a more masculine, mature role. She's also really tall. She loves the spotlight. She's always surrounded by crowds of girls, really. And she, again, is like kind of like prince, playboy type of style person. It feels like from the very beginning, they kind of set her up as that, where she's always like the calm, cool, collected, always trying to look, cool and suave for everybody. Her first moment we get is when, she doesn't really care or eat Yu's cooking when Yu is trying to cook for them and show that he cares about them. Kazuki's the one that's saying like, no, I gotta work on this play. Get out of my face with all that. We also have a funny moment where she gets embarrassed at school by Yu. Yu goes up and sees that she's surrounded by a crowd of women and kind of says things that makes it seem like they have a relationship when they don't. It kind of embarrasses her, and I thought that was a really funny moment. Then later she gets a cold because she's, trying so hard to work on this play and she's not really taking care of herself, not eating right, but she has too much pride to let anybody take care of her. So the sisters try to get involved. She's like, no, get out of my room. Yu tries to, get in there with food and everything, and she's kind of like, get away from me, I'm fine. She has too much pride for all of this. She's supposed to be the older one, the mature one out of everybody, Eventually, Yu gets in by trying to practice lines with her because Yu's mother was a really, really famous actor. And so, they try to do lines, but Yu sucks at it, and he keeps throwing out daily because Kazuki's like, you suck at this, I'm not even going to practice with you. But then one night, she goes downstairs and realizes and sees Yu practicing the lines, looking at the TV, practicing lines, actually putting in effort. And she realizes this and is like, oh, wow, he's actually putting in effort to try to, care for me and help me. So eventually she lets Yu practice with him. We have an almost kiss in that show. And eventually she kind of gives in and lets him cook for her. Then later when they're going to this festival, Kazuki immediately surrounded by all these women and all these girls that want to take pictures with her and all that stuff. And Yu notices this, and you could see like she actually just wanted to spend time with her sisters, but she'll never, of course, say that. But being surrounded by girls, the spotlight, that's just what she wants. She also helps an injured girl get medical attention, in a little prince-like move. And then after that, she's walking away. All the girls are trying to get back to her, and Yu hides her, brings her into the bushes to hide her away from all the attention, because she also was kind of hurt in a sense. And, Yu is like, hey, I know you want to be with us. I know you don't have to be the prince all the time. You can ask for help sometimes too. And there's a really sweet moment from them. Her other big moment is she's playing a woman for the first time in a play. She's usually playing the male character leads, but now she's finally playing a woman, and she wants to learn by watching Yu, because Yu is kind of a male wife in this show. He cleans, he cooks, he does everything. He's basically kind of like their mom. And while Kazuki's trying to learn from Yu, washing dishes and stuff, they have an accidental kiss, a little slip fall. They kiss each other, and she tries to make it seem like, oh, whatever, it's cool, and tries to play it off. But you can definitely see it's getting to her and bothering her. And Yu eventually goes up and tells her, like, hey, don't worry about it. Don't even think about it like it didn't even happen. While she's at the practice for the play, she has to kiss, one of the characters. And so she tries, but she darts right back and is kind of like flustered by it. And the person, I guess, running the practice tells her like, hey, personal life can affect performance and all that. And so she takes this literally. And when she goes home, she asks you out on a date. So we get our first big like romance move in this show. Going on the date, she dresses more feminine. She's wearing a dress. She has long hair. she's trying to see how to act feminine because she took that as personal life. If I go on a date as a woman, I can kind of get into the character. And so they go on this date, but eventually she just ends up being the masculine one at the end of the day, helping him down the stairs, protecting him from water, like holding the bag, just doing her princely ways, which is just like what she does, so you can't really fault her for that. But it's funny that she's the one, she wanted to go on this date to be the feminine one, but she ends up being the masculine one at the end of the day. A really sweet moment on this date is that you went to the bathroom, some recruiter guy for agency tries to kind of like recruit her into this, but then you comes out and kind of like protects her from it, and then she ends up saying, no, like we're gonna be together one day, in like a embarrassing moment. At the end they do a little hand holding. He also takes her to see a movie on this date, and the movie stars someone that used to be in their kind of acting tree, in Kazuki's acting tree, that also is similar to Kazuki, where she was more of a masculine role, but she ends up playing a feminine role in the movie, and she didn't really do that good in it, and Kazuki's like in her head talking about like, dang, I don't know if I can play this role, I don't know if I can do it, am I gonna be good at it, thinking about what her father was saying to her, and it's just a lot of pressure on her, because she's like really popular and kind of important, and everyone's been putting all this pressure on her, and she wants to live up to it, but this is her first time really like facing adversity in her career. After, you takes her to the Ferris wheel, and you kind of teach her a little bit about like, hey, like failures just happen sometimes, we need to fail to learn from it and succeed. Failure is a big part in everything, and kind of having her open up a little bit and opening her eyes to the real world and not just having to be perfect all the time, and also tells her, hey, just be yourself in this role, you'll do great at it. And so when they're walking home, she kind of takes his advice, and takes it in stride. She's like, okay, I'll just do it, I'll be myself, I'll do what I have to do, and if I fail, I fail. And she also flusters you a little bit, telling him like, hey, that was my first kiss, by the way, so I can't take it as nothing. And finally, when they go to the amusement park, her plan to fluster you is going to the haunted house, because haunted house, the girl clings onto the guy like, oh my god, I'm so scared. But eventually, again, it ends up going the opposite way around, where she's the one having to carry you out of the haunted house because he's too scared. Overall, honestly, I didn't know how much I was gonna like Kazuki at first. I didn't think I was gonna really be like attached to her or anything, but as the show progressed on, I got kind of attached. I really started respecting her. I liked how she was kind of the one, I feel like, that when you was giving her advice about the failure and stuff, she kind of just took it and didn't really think too much about it. And I really like that she was kind of open, because at first you think she's kind of like stuck up and kind of cocky, which she kind of is in a sense. I mean, she's an actor, she's a theater kid, she's always about herself, but she actually took this advice and took it in stride, and even said it to the other girls, throughout the show as time progressed. And so yeah, I really came to kind of enjoy her character and enjoy how much she really played like the older sister lead type role in this show. So overall, she's also has a really good hat, in this running. Final sister we get to is Miwa. She's the youngest sister in this show. She's very, very smart, really smart, high grades. She plays Shogi Master, which is a Japanese game I honestly don't know too much about. If you know about it, let me know down in the comments below, because I don't really know too much about it. But apparently you have to be really smart. It's kind of like chess in a way. And she's like really, really smart. She really likes sweets. She doesn't really talk to many people in her class. She usually sits there quietly playing on her phone. She likes to be more inside and to herself and all that. And she didn't really have as much moments as Kazuki and Nico did, but the last couple episodes were basically all about her. She has a couple moments in the early episodes of the show. One of them is when Yu cooks for Nico, and Nico finally gives into the food. She also comes in and snoops in and sees like, hey, what are you guys doing? And she also gets a meal for herself, really like recognizing right away Yu doing this for them. She also eats with Yu at school, and they have a really good conversation. She realizes how much, she appreciates him and how much he's doing for them. At the amusement park, her plan to fluster Yu is they're going to go on a roller coaster ride, and she's going to try to act scared and cling to Yu, but again, goes the other way around, where she's fine with roller coasters, Yu isn't, and she's the one having to take care of Yu. The last few episodes are the only time we really get to see her full story, and she gets moments with Yu. She forgets her lunch at home one day, and Yu has to go over to the shogi match to give it to her. They have a little bit of conversation there, and then in her shogi battle, her big like tournament championship, she loses her first two matches, the first time she's ever lost. and it's really getting to her. She doesn't even want to go home. She sneaks away. She doesn't really have that energy that she usually has. 'Cause usually she's like an energetic, sort of fun character, but especially at home when she's interacting with, her sisters and you. But this time she doesn't really have it. She lost. It's the first time she's lost. She's supposed to be a master at this. She's the #1 player. And so eventually Yu goes out to try to find her, and we find her at a cat cafe, trying to clear her mind, playing with the cats and all that stuff. And eventually she opens up, and she actually has a really, like, kind of, I guess, sad and interesting story where she honestly doesn't even really love shogi. She doesn't really love it. It was kind of picked for her as a baby because they recognized she was smart, and the dad put games, and she's like, hey, pick a game. What do you want? And she picked shogi. And so she kind of like was forced a little bit into playing it, and she only kept playing it and kept doing it because she loved the feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of others, especially her sisters, telling her like, hey, you did good, wanting praise, which is understandable. We all want that in our lives. And so she doesn't really have like a passion or a love for it. And she looks at Nico and Kazuki, and they are both doing what they love. Nico loves karate, and Kazuki loves being an actor, and she's doing this thing that she's good at, but she doesn't really love it with a passion. She doesn't really truly care for it. She only just kind of does it because she kind of was like, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm so smart that I know this game, so I'm just going to do it because why not? And she kind of even says like she knew one day she was going to lose, and it was going to suck for her, and the emotions were going to come out, and it was going to feel really bad. And her and you have a really good talk over it. And it was very interesting to me because I did not really expect it. But looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see it, because it's like, on one hand, it's like it's not doing what you love, and I'm a big supporter on doing what you love, and finding a passion for stuff. And it must be tough for her going out there and playing all the time, even though she doesn't really have a passion for it, and that really sucks. But it's also like, dang, you're really smart, and you're still able to do this even though you don't really love or have a passion for it, but you do it out of like accomplishment, which is also good in itself, because giving yourself validation that you can do different things is really nice. So it's kind of like a weird, got pros and cons of like her life and what she's doing. And I would say like go find a passion for yourself, but then it's like she's been growing up with this game for years, so she probably doesn't really have any other passion. Like even in the background scenes we see of her, she's playing against the computer on her phone, trying to get better at it. So it's like she doesn't really have a life outside of shogi. So it's really, really interesting. And then after they have this talk, Yu kind of reassures her, and they go and they like eventually end up making like sweets and chocolate for her sisters, showing her love and appreciation for them throughout this time. They also get a cute romantic moment between Miwa and Yu, where Yu falls asleep while they're making it, and Miwa made a chocolate for Yu and kisses the chocolate on the forehead, kind of as a symbol of like how much she cares about Yu. Because I feel like her and Yu also have a lot of like really close moments in this show, and Miwa, I feel like out of all three of them, Miwa shows the most affection outwardly to Yu, I feel like, throughout the show. And so she goes to her final shogi match, she wins, and she has the motivation. She wants to go out there and win because she wants to impress her family, using that as like, hey, I want to impress the people I love, so I'm just gonna go out there and play even if I don't love this, which is like respectable in a way. At the end, she kisses Yu on the forehead. It's probably the most like actually like passionate romantic moment of the show. At the end of the day, Miwa, again, throughout the first, I feel like 70% of the show she's kind of just there, once in a while. But then the last few episodes really made me think like, dang, she actually is kind of a contender for it. She's kind of, she's cute, she's really, really smart. She's the most kind of, I feel like, easygoing out of the three. She's super, super sweet, kind of chill in a sense, but also has a side where it's like she can kind of get a little bit extroverted and talk a lot when she's in the right environment. And her story is really, really cool. And again, I feel like she has the most like romantic and probably best moments with Yu. So she definitely threw her name in the hat at the end. Overall, at the end of the day, all three of these characters are really, really nice. I didn't really have any qualms with any of the three characters. I think they all have their great own personalities in their own way. They also all have moments with each other, with Yu, and overall, it was just really, they're sweet. They're sweet, and they were really good characters. I appreciated all of them, and I wouldn't really be mad at anybody to say like I like this character more than this character, because it's like I can feel you. I can feel you from, you know, any other angle you take. I can appreciate all these characters at the end of the day, you know? But overall, my pick for number one girl is going to Nico. It's going to Nico. It was Nico from episode 1, and it's always been Nico. From her design, I love it. Her personality, I love it. I'm honestly, it's interesting because I'm usually not a tsundere guy. Honestly, like I'm not really a big tsundere type of guy. But for some reason with Nico, it's like different because she's a lot less. Because tsunderes usually are like a lot. You know, their personalities are like so much to deal with. With Nico, she's kind of really toned down in a sense where it's not like she's flying all over the place and, you know, being mean all the time. You know, she has a lot more cuter sides to her than regular tsunderes do, I feel like. Again, you know, the feistiness I really love, but I also love how she can have a cute side and she kind of, you know, dives in and kind of appreciates her cute side a little bit more. I feel like she's super sweet. I feel like she is always there for you no matter what. And especially early on, she kind of understood that right away and was there for him. And yeah, I don't know. She was just the one that I, you know, got attached to first, and the one that I've loved the most out of the entire show. So overall, my pick is Nico for number one. You know, if you have another pick, you know, respect to you. Shout out to you. I like it. But yeah, again, very different review from the last couple shows. Honestly, I think I'm going to do this once in a while, depending on the show. I wanted to talk about the themes and stuff at first, but I honestly thought this was more entertaining for me to do. The story in the show isn't bad. I'm not saying this is like a boring or terrible show, but I just felt like this was more entertaining for me. Talk about the 3 girls and like this type of format I liked. And I might do it for more shows depending on the story, depending on the characters, and depending how things go, I guess. But yeah, that's gonna be all I have for the review today. I appreciate you guys once again for watching the channel. Again, one a week. I'm doing one video a week, you know, so stay on the lookout for next week when I do my next show. I forgot what the name of it is, but I'm gonna start watching it very, very soon, and we're gonna have a review for it next week. You know, if you do like the video, hit the like button. I appreciate it a whole lot. Comment something down below, whether it's your best girl or how you feel about the show, or I guess whatever you want. You know, it helps out the algorithm, so that's cool. If you do like the content around here, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it a whole lot if you hit the subscribe button right up here. If you like the content, if you're a romance anime person, you know, if you like the reviews, or you just, I don't know, you want to subscribe, that would be cool, I guess. Hit that subscribe button. Also subscribe to my main channel, Everyday Hoop. Talk about basketball over there. Literally the exact opposite of what we do around here. But we've been popping off recently. The NBA season is back. So if you like basketball, if you know somebody that likes basketball, let them know about the channel down low in the description. And I guess that's all I got for today. Peace out.